We're back now with Republican Congressman Mike Turner. Thank you for coming back to town early to talk to us in person.
Thank you.
Let's start on our polling, because you, like many people right now, are running for re-election, right? You look at this poll, 64% of the American people disapprove of the war, 62% say the president has no clear plan. There are these negative perceptions of the president's handling of the economy and inflation. Dayton isn't immune. Gas prices up $1 from where they were same time last year. How are you explaining to people in your district that this war is worth it?
Well, first off, no conflict ever polls well. I mean, when there's a conflict occurring, no one says it's being handled well, because you have to go through the conflict. The president has articulated, I think, very well, that this is about ensuring that Iran does not become a nuclear state. And no one is willing to trade lower gas prices for Iran becoming a nuclear state. And when Vice President Vance stood at the podium and said that the negotiations had broken off because Iran was not willing to declare that they would not become a nuclear state, that should have sent a chill both through Europe and around the world. And I think, for everyone, because that truly is what this is about. That puts away what Senator Warner was trying to dismissively say, that this was not an imminent threat, and what everyone else has been saying in Europe and around the world.
Well, the president says it's an ambition.
But that this is an immediate. The IAEA, Grossi, the director, had said they were weeks away from having enough material to have.
He said there was no evidence that they were pursuing a nuclear weapon.
They were weeks away, and now you have it. No longer can people say that they did not have the ambition. Here they are, all the way at the table. They have been in this massive conflict, and they're unwilling to say they're not going to pursue. They're unwilling to pursue a nuclear weapon.
Preventing that. However, the negotiation itself is proof of the fact that militarily you cannot achieve destruction of nuclear ambition, is it not?
No, it's not, because they're still ongoing, and the president has
said. What's ongoing?
This conflict, this act, the negotiations.
But the president said the war's won.
This is not over, and as it's not over, Iran is going to have to come to the realization, the JCPOA, the original enrichment deal that Obama had negotiated, where he said, we're not going to allow them to have a nuclear weapon, but we're just going to watch.
And they didn't have a nuclear weapon.
And where we're going to watch.
And they don't have a nuclear weapon.
And we're going to watch them enrich until they get close enough, and then we'll take military action. Europe, everyone was a party to this deal. This is not just a United States.
They still won't agree to not get a nuclear weapon.
This is not just a United States issue, as we saw during this conflict, where Iran, in their missile technology, sent a missile all the way to Diego Garcia. This was a wake-up call for Europe. They now have missile technology that can reach Europe.
Right.
This is a terrorist regime, that we cannot allow to have a nuclear weapon.
So you said the president has been very clear here in his goals and intent. Our polling shows the American people aren't persuaded in the same way you are. Let me run through some of the things he said on the Hormuz Strait. At the outset of the war, March 3rd, he said the Navy would begin escorting tankers. No matter what, the U.S. will ensure the free flow of energy to the world. March 9th, he said he was still thinking about taking it over. March 15th, he said it was someone else's problem. Our allies would take care of it. Maybe we shouldn't even be there. We don't need it. We have a lot of oil. 6 days later, he threatened online the U.S. would attack Iran's power plants if it didn't open the strait within 48 hours. March 26th, he went back to blaming allies, saying he's disappointed in NATO.
Margaret, in conflict,
and then
there's going
he announced a 2-week ceasefire, saying Iran had agreed to open the strait. I'm not done, because yesterday he said that CENTCOM announced they're sending 2 ships to set the conditions for clearing mines. This morning, he said the Navy's going to start blockading the strait and interdict ships. Is that the final answer? I mean, can you see here why the public doesn't think that the president has a clear strategy?
Your adversary has a vote in this, too, and they have a position at 2, which there were just negotiations yesterday.
They changed with the
days.
Just
yesterday, there were negotiations, and literally, Iran had an opportunity just yesterday to say to the world, we're not going to pursue a nuclear weapon. Can you imagine?
But on the largest exporter which is the thing that's causing your gas prices to go up,
having a nuclear weapon, they have been enriching. They have been enriching uranium. They've been enriching to to the point where the IAEA, the head of the IAEA, said they were weeks away from having enough to have
There
a
has
nuclear
not
weapon.
been a single congressional hearing on this issue. No one's disagreeing. It's an important one. Since
There have
this
been
war
hearings
began,
there have been
you
hearings
have been in
on
session
Iran's
for
nuclear
11 days,
ambitions
Congressman.
for decades.
Do you think this is adequate oversight
There have been
of this war?
decades of, well, actually, we have had classified briefings on this issue. Now, this is an ongoing conflict. There are going to be continued briefings. I think the administration certainly could, and the chairman of the Armed Services Committee has chastised the department on needing to provide Congress with more information, but we've had classified briefings. But the issue that's the crux of this, that Iran cannot be permitted to have a nuclear weapon, which is what the vice president stood before the world and said,
Yes.
that Iran is unwilling to declare just yesterday, which was the breaking point of the negotiations, has been the subject of hearings for
Do you
decades.
know what the president means when he says that the United States Navy is now going to be blockading the Strait of Hormuz that we are trying to open? Has that been briefed to Congress?
I think, well, of course not, because it was just announced yet, as you were
Well, if it was
discussing
a clear
this
strategy
morning.
all along, and this was part of the plan, you
What
would
is
think it
clear in the
happened.
strategy, as the president has said, is the straits are not just a United States issue. It is also a Europe issue. It is a worldwide issue.
And the president said
Iran
today we
should
have
not
to
be permitted.
re-examine NATO
Iran
because
should
of it.
not be permitted to control the straits, and it's not just a United States issue.
Did they mine
and
it?
And Iran should not be permitted to just decide who gets through. And Europe, our NATO allies, others who have certainly an interest in the straits, should be coming to the table, and it should not just be a U.S. issue. The president, by saying we're not just going to let them decide who gets through, is certainly calling all of our allies and everyone to the table of this needs to be addressed.
Did they mine the Strait of Hormuz? Because in that tweet today, the president also said they might not have.
Well, I think,
Because he said no
I
ship.
think you'll have to ask the president.
But
It's his
that's
tweet.
the point, that Congress has not
It's
been
his
briefed
tweet.
on that.
I
As
think,
a member
I think you'll
on
have to ask the
oversight
president.
and armed services, do you feel like this has actually been adequately explained to you? Because the American public does not.
The president just tweeted this morning, so you'll have to ask the president.
We would love to ask the president or
I
the
bet you
Secretary of State or the Secretary of Defense. But members of Congress from his party are the only ones sitting here today, and we do appreciate you answering questions on it.